Technoloab Radio Academy Info.
Welcome, dear listener of Technolab Radio, and today we are continuing with our program as our podcast is coming here to educate, teach, train, and discuss about different issues that are happening within our community, within where we are working, and all around us. So today the topic is mostly focusing on the pricing, and they will be looking at the 3 W's and 1 H of pricing. So keep with us and keep listening to
Technolab Radio Academy Info.
Yes, Technolab Radio, which is bringing you all the information and all the update dialect to make sure that we have this particular experience of one-to-one discussing about things that matter most in our community. Yeah. So in one of the main things that, as I said, we look at the 3 W's and the 1 H of pricing, and we want to understand what are those, how do they work. So both basically, in my experience, most of entrepreneurs and especially that are starting out in this field of entrepreneurship, they mostly have a difficult time with pricing, and that's normal because they are starting and the things are not well. So especially if one comes from the community like mine, so looking at my community, it's become a little bit huge challenge when most of the things are given for free. Yeah, majority of people, they expect things has to be given and received without proper structure. And also, when most of the communities are poor and the selling seems to be a little bit love of money. Yeah, in my community, when you are selling things, they think that you are loving money. So therefore, most of us don't consider the time to be as a variable commodity, but also in other view, we can say selling time is very unethical in my context. These are locally based on my view toward the community that I'm living in, but also toward the thing that I see. So with this in mind, it's become now to bring kind of conflict in both, especially in ethical point of view, which can change depending on where you are and what you are doing. So in connection to that, that's why mostly we look at the Bible, which shows a prophet as not being respected mostly for people from their city, and with this also bring another challenge to young people that keeps them waiting and holding on to see how can they stand where everyone differently interpret what they are doing or what they are approaching. So with that in mind, then we go to the main thing, because we need to keep the main thing that pricing is the core of everything when you're talking about entrepreneurship. If you don't know how to price, I'm sure if you overprice or you underprice, there is high possibility of your product to fail. There is no other way around, because people, they buy because of different reasons, including the value that they believe they are getting from the product. So if they feel like there is no enough value and your price seems to be high, they will be a little bit not open to go ahead to buy, or it's the vice versa also is equal. So that's why I say let us discuss about the 3 W's and 1 H to look at how exactly we can assist each other to make sure that we are able to price properly, and also we are able to succeed in this particular journey of entrepreneurship. So stay with me, and we are from Technolab.
Technolab Radio Academy Info.
Right. So going back to our 3W and the 1H, I will start with the first W. The first W is talking about why it is critical to price your product. So sometimes people, they don't know, they come up with a good idea, they start doing marketing, but when you ask them how much do you sell this, they haven't thought about that, especially for these products that especially services. People have already organized themselves, they know their service that they're going to be doing, they have set everything, but they don't have idea how much will that particular service be sold out. And when you meet with this particular challenge, then it become an issue to understand, like, what are we talking about? Because after you telling me about all the good thing, after you telling me about all the values of your product or services, I expect now you to tell me how much should I pay to make sure if I'm interested, I can get the service or I can grab the product, take it with me. So if there is no price, then there is no business, because that is the only part that the business wait for. All you are working hard to reach is to sell, and if you are going to sell, you should know the product. I have met with the couple of young people that are doing a very good activities within the community, and they are pushing, they have their ideas online in order, they have their energy, they have organized themselves. But when you come up to the point of what is the cost, what should I pay you to get the service or the product, then they become unaware of what to answer. They don't have an answer, seriously. Like, there is no proper answer to tell you that I think this product, we have set it to this particular cost, and we believe this is the best way for you because of this, of that, of this. So for me, I think and I believe that you should set the price first, because if you set your price first, it will give you a chance now to be able to manage the whole thing. Because if you have no price, if you know how you don't have the price, it will be very, very tricky. And this is coming to the second W, which is said, when should you price your product? When should I price my product? So think of yourself, you got an idea, you have this good idea about a service or product, and you want to dive into it, and then you don't know how much will sell at the end. I once read this other book, they say start with the end in mind. I think, the title should be in that particular way. Start with the end in mind, something like that. So when you are starting to produce your product or service, you should have the price at the end of the day, so that the price you have will guide you in all your customer research. You need to know which customer you're going to target, and at what particular market are you going to put your product or services. Because if you don't have the final price, you're going to produce a certain product that you are not going to know where to sell it. And if you do the customer segmentation after the product, there is high risk of your product to fail. That is from my personal experience and my personal journey in this particular field. It can be different from you, because we have different view, different approach. But for my personal experience, I believe and I know that when you have no price of the end product before, as you are starting, then there's high possibility of you failing. So when should you start? You price your product at the beginning. As the moment you got the idea, think how much are you going to sell, so that if you say I will sell it at $20, whatever, 22,000 Malawi kwacha, that price will be guiding you, will guide a lot of your decision going forward. And another thing that I have seen also, another thing that I have observed is most of the entrepreneurs or people that are diving in business, they depend on the guesswork, and this is very, very, very challenge, because if you do the guesswork, even client can sense the guesswork that you are doing, and they feel like, no, I think there's something that is not clear. And that's what bring us to the only one H we have in this particular 3W and 1H. So the one H we have is, how should you price your product? But before we reach to how should you price your product, we need to look at what are the most crucial aspect or to consider when pricing your product, because you need to have this what exactly should I look at when I'm doing the pricing? What should I look at? And if you don't look at that, then you will not know how to do that. You need to collect all the what you need, and then now look at how will I come up to the end. So in the how and on the what exactly should you consider, the things that you should make sure that you consider early when you are doing your pricing. And number one, which I use not to consider mostly until I got a chance to be taught by different mentors that I got access to, who are also very happy to see me moving forward. The first one they taught me was the time. That pricing process of your product or service should put time as the number one in cost consideration. This means that how much time does it take you to produce that product or service, because without time there is no productivity at all. As a result, now you should consider the opportunity cost, which means that the loss that you are getting when you choose to do exactly or this product or service. And also the second aspect in the same thing that you should consider, it's include the product and the services to refer to the skills that you are putting in. This is very, very much important. What skills are you having that are going to be assist your product or service to be existing? Let us say, for example, myself. I'm doing computer programming training, and also apart from that, I'm also software developer. So if somebody come to me and say, I want a software, I want application, what should I look at? I look at the time that I will spend on when I want to price according to the features that the person need, but I look at the skills that it will take. So you come to tell me, okay, I want application in C. That will be totally different from somebody who will come and tell me I want application in PHP, because the skill is different level and they have different capabilities. So even the demand and the need is highly regardless. So not because you know it, then that means the value is the same. No. That's the learning process itself is not the same. The struggle you go through for different skills is not the same. Then that's why you need to make sure that even that is priced properly when you are looking at the pricing, the way what you consider when you are doing your pricing. We say the time, we say the skills that you have, but also the other main thing, the third thing that is mostly based on the external tangible material. This involves that the raw material, the materials that you need to use to produce a specific product or services. Especially, let's say you are doing marketing. So when you're doing marketing, there's something that you are going to need to make sure that you can reach to the end result. So before I give you that particular example, let us take just a little break by going back to our supporter and the ones that are making us to have this particular podcast.
Signal Radio Academy Info.
All right, thank you very much. So, and now as we are talking about let us say we are talking about marketing, for example, and you need to do the posters, you need to do the flyers, but also you need to get the designers, because as an entrepreneur, you should mostly, as we said on the other podcast, which is talking about entrepreneurship and investment. So we say that entrepreneur is somebody who will not necessarily who knows everything, but somebody who must work with other people to deliver the services. So you are marketing, you need designers, you need printing spaces that you can print materials, and different skills that you are pulling in. So at the end of the day, this has to be considered to make sure that they give you the proper pricing, and the more the number increase of the product or services you have to provide, a certain way they reduce also the costs if somebody is getting back or is getting one single particular services. So those are the things that you need to remember when you are doing pricing. So at the end of the day, in my context, I will advise you to include everything. Everything should not left to be out. That's why I'm saying that, because if you're looking at external, look at the house you are using. Don't say this is my mother's, my father's, my uncle's, or I'm renting here for sleeping, so I'm doing this in my room, so I can't consider it. Oh, the chair you are sitting on has to be counted. If I was going to be charging for this particular podcast, I could even count the stand that is holding my mic, so that at the end of the day, I could be still on the business for a very long time of period, because sustainability of a lot of business is depending on the capability of the business to generate income, but not only income, to generate profit that has been well counted. Because most of the young or people who are starting business, they count a profit which has never been a profit at all. It's just the money that was supposed to cover other thing, and was not being counted on. So they be grouped as a profit. So if you are paying for softwares, if you are paying for whatever, anything that you are using to produce that particular product has to be included. That's why we started with the time, which goes with the opportunity costs, and we went with the skills that is going to be put in. You are the best, you have the best designers, you have the best trainers, you have the best whatsoever. Those has to be put on, but also the materials that you are going to use, that including everything that is going to be used. All right. So, and in the last part we said is the how. Now, if you are going now to reach to the how should you price your product, is now when you sit down and now start charging for one particular product or a service. So let's say if you are going to teach one student, how much will that cost, and what will that take, what cost will that interest, so that you teach this one particular student at the end of the day. Or if it's about the product, one product, how much will it cost to get that particular one product? I was talking today actually with some of my students. They're talking about baking, and you ask somebody who's saying baking, you ask how much does it cost you to make a very simple, basic, to the point cake that has nothing, no toppings, no writings, nothing, just cake. And you understand from the conversation that there is a very big gap, which shows that there is no enough information of counting everything that is going into the production. So you can't dive in a business that you don't know what is happening, what is is being used to make the production be successful. And that's one of the main things, because when you are doing pricing and when you reach to how should you price your product, that's when you now start to say, okay, I used 5 hours to produce this. In these 5 hours, how much can it cost me to do other thing? If I'm doing other thing, how much can it generate to me? And also, what skills do I need to use to make sure that I'm producing? Sorry for that. Yeah. How much should I spend to produce this particular thing? What skills will I need? As we said, if I'm using a skills that is very complex, then even the price will go high. If I'm using the basic skills, then it will be different. And at the end of the day, all of this has to be grouped together. The seat that we mentioned that you need to put together, you identify first, and then you look at the cost. Because these things, the more you sit on a chair, the more it gets destroyed, the more it gets finished. The more you use a computer, the more it gets slower and slower and slower, and at the end of the day, you can't use it. If you are baking, the plate you are using, it will not keep being used forever. The room, the electricity, all those things has to be considered, so that when you do the pricing, you are not doing it for the sake of just to make the product out, but you are trying to make sure that you meet a customer and you give the customer the best deal that they can be happy. And also, don't exaggerate, because I have seen this happening. Prior product or services based on the people they are meeting, which for me, I think to have a certain pattern, it's better you say that if these are the thing you need, the price will go this way, but not the same product and the same quality, but it is changed because of the different people. That's totally doesn't make sense, because this one has come with this way, you price higher, and this one has to be priced lower. That doesn't make sense in a proper business. Why does it make sense? If you are really entrepreneur, you are not doing something for the food, because that's a different case. If you are doing for getting the food, that's totally another issue. But if you are really entrepreneur, you are looking for a long-term goals, you want to expand your business, you want your business to be big and huge in the future. So if you are doing that particular changes abruptly of the prices and the like, there is no proper future of your business to grow, because there is no structure of your pricing and the like. So you need to set pricing structure. You say, if this is the cost, if this is the thing that has to be used, I will charge this. If this is the thing that has to be used, I will charge this, so that there is no hidden costs that most of the client or customers, they always don't like when they realize that, no, this was not mentioned anywhere, or this was not clearly communicated at the beginning. So these are among the things that you need to do. You need to have the 3W and 1H to make sure that your product is having a proper price. And when you are going now to do the marketing, which is the next episode that we are going to talk to about, you are going to be able to sell your product very, very possibly to different people. So this is from Technolab. You are with me, Remy Gakwaya, and as of now, we are now on all the main podcasts channels. We are on Spotify, we are on Google Podcasts, we are also on this other big podcast actually. We are on the Breaker, and we are on what? Yeah, there are many, man. There are many now. You can use also our RSS if you want to get dialect, but also we are on Anchor FM, and this other podcast, and actually we have also created the account with Leveb Nation, so you can get us through Gakwaya Remy. There you will be able to listen to our podcast as if they are music. Yeah, that's one of the beautiful thing of the Leveb Nation, and I have been there for a while. That's why I was thinking that no, we should have something on Leveb Nation. Leveb Nation was one. iTunes also is going to be live, and also the Google is going to be live, and all other particular platform. Check us. We are Technolab Academy. Technolab Radio Academy Information, or you can search Remy Gakwaya. You'll find me on those particular platforms, so that you can be able to listen to our podcasts that are coming daily to you to inform, entertain, but also discuss about things that matter around our communities, around the global, but also around Africa, because we are mostly interested on the technology, business administration, entrepreneurship, but also how can startup grow and move forward. So next time we'll be talking about something interesting, so don't miss the next episode. But all these are supported and powered by G Production. This is Gakwaya Production, a studio that is empowering me as Remy, and also Technolab Radio to be able to be aired through this particular platform. We're going to keep you updated, and follow us on all our social media through Remy Gakwaya, or Gakwaya Remy as one word. Until next time, see you, and let us keep on informing people, but also assisting other people to understand more and more.
Technolab Radio Academy Info.